What is up, guys? Delboy here. I've always wondered how sanctioning bodies come up with their rankings. Do they have any set formulas to calculate the rankings? Do they abide by any criterias to make the rankings? Or is it just kind of random and, there's no real method to it? I've always wondered how they come up with these rankings. And I would like the sanctioning bodies to come out and actually explain how they, calculate these rankings, because there must be some type of process, right? And we don't really know what it is. So first and foremost, I would like the sanctioning bodies to come out and actually explain how they do what they do. That would be nice, because sometimes we are left with some absolutely shocking rankings. And today we are talking about the WBA, and we're talking about the welterweight rankings. And as we can see, at number 6 we have Conor Benn. Conor Benn is a prospect coming out of the UK. Obviously he is the son of Nigel Benn, a great fighter, right? But Conor Benn is a novice. He had a very small amateur background, and as a pro he's only had 13 fights. And to date, as a pro, his best win is over a 6-6 journeyman from France called Cedric Pienord. And by the way, he fought Cedric Pienord twice, because he won the first fight in a 6-rounder, but he got dropped twice. And, he got a gift decision in that fight. Conor Benn should have lost that first fight, so he rematched Pienord, and he beat Pienord by decision in the rematch. I think the rematch was like a 10-rounder, but it was against a 6-6 journeyman. That's Conor Benn's best win, a 6-6 journeyman. And apart from that, he's been feasting on an even lower level of journeyman, and even in a couple of these fights, he's not looked too great. But somehow he is rated as the 6th best welterweight in the world by the WBA. To me, that is absolutely scandalous. Now, I'm not criticising Conor Benn. I'm not, being harsh on him. But have a look at these ratings. Would you honestly pick him to beat anybody in this top 15 on this screen right now? Let's go through it together. Alexander Besputin. I've seen Besputin fight a few times. I think he's a good prospect. Far, far, far ahead of Conor Benn. No way would I pick Conor Benn to beat Besputin. Would Conor Benn beat Jesse Vargas at number 2? Jesse Vargas, to me, maybe on the downslide, but still, he would have way too much for Conor Benn. That would be horrible for Conor Benn to put him in with Jesse Vargas. Jamal James. Jamal James, he's a good fighter. Is he a great welterweight? Absolutely not. But again, fought at a much higher level than Conor Benn. He's a big guy for the weight. I couldn't see Conor Benn beating Jamal James at all. Kavalauskas, big puncher, strong. He would walk through Conor Benn. It would be ugly. Kerman Lejaraga from Spain. The UK fans will know him. He recently beat both Bradley Skeet and Frankie Gavin in European title fights. He destroyed those guys. Do you think Conor Benn's going to fare any better? I don't see it. In fact, would Conor Benn beat Frankie Gavin or Bradley Skeet? I've seen nothing to indicate that he would. Number 7, Josh Kelly. Would Conor Benn beat Josh Kelly? For me, Josh Kelly is light years ahead of Conor Benn as a prospect. And by the way, I'm not sold on Josh Kelly, but he's been fighting at a much higher level. Josh Kelly has beaten Carlos Molina. Again, I know Carlos Molina is well past his best, but again, I'll go back to the point. Would Conor Benn beat Carlos Molina? There's nothing to indicate that he would. At all. When you're struggling with a 6-6 journeyman, I wouldn't pick him to beat Carlos Molina, and Carlos Molina has gone into journeyman mode. Also, Josh Kelly beat Chris George for the Commonwealth title. You know, Chris George, he was what he was. He was a Commonwealth level fighter, but Conor Benn hasn't fought anywhere close to that level. Chris George looked big for the weight. He had a bit of power. You know, from how, you know, judging by how Conor Benn handled Pianord's power, he got hurt badly in the first fight and he got buzzed a couple of times in the second fight. I wouldn't put Conor Benn in with Chris George. So no, Josh Kelly is a no-go. Sergey Lubkovic. I've seen Lubkovic fight once. Now, he fought on the undercard of that WBC welterweight tournament thing. Who did he fight? He fought Carrie Mayfield. That was a really ugly fight, but he beat Carrie Mayfield. You know, that's a much higher level than anybody Conor Benn's fought. So can we say Conor Benn beats Lubkovic? Not for me. I'm sorry, not for me. Decent boxer, Lubkovic. You know, young, talented. I wouldn't pick Conor Benn there. Number 9, Adrian Broner. Now, Broner's stock is at an all-time low, but he would pummel Conor Benn. He would. He would destroy Conor Benn. Not competitive. Number 10, Josecito Lopez. We saw Lopez the other week give Keith Thurman hell. That's a no-go for Conor Benn. At number 11, Samuel Vargas. Samuel Vargas recently fought Amir Khan. He gave Amir Khan quite a tough fight. He dropped Khan and he put it on Khan in some rounds. Samuel Vargas, not a world-class fighter by any means, but he's a tough, middle-of-the-road type of fighter. You know, he's if you're not up to scratch, he could give you a tough fight. And Samuel Vargas has fought at a decent level. I wouldn't pick Conor Benn to beat Samuel Vargas. At number 12, we have Cameron Hammond. Now, I've got to admit this guy because I've never seen this guy fight. So maybe this is Conor Benn's best chance of getting a win out of all the guys on this list. I've never seen Cameron Hammond, so I can't comment on that. Number 13, Miguel Cruz. I saw Miguel Cruz fight Louis Collazo. Miguel Cruz lost that fight, but you know, Miguel Cruz isn't great, so maybe Conor Benn could sneak that, but still, I mean, would Conor Benn fare any better against Louis Collazo? No, not at all. Butayev, I've seen a bit of Butayev. He looks fairly decent, and he looks a lot more advanced than Conor Benn. Butayev he's a decent prospect. Wouldn't pick Conor Benn to beat him. And Johan Perez. Not sure how Johan Perez is there. I've seen him fight a few times. He's okay, but again, fought at a higher level than Conor Benn. So I can't even say Conor Benn beats Johan Perez. So looking at that list, I wouldn't pick Conor Benn to beat anybody. Maybe Cameron Hammond, but I've not seen him fight, so I can't say that. So that goes to show how out of place Conor Benn is in these ratings, and I can't see how anybody with a right mind would pick Conor Benn in pretty much all of these fights. And don't get me wrong, I know how Conor Benn is in there. He's got some continental WBA belt, but you know, these sanctioning bodies, they need to be, you know, kind of monitoring who is fighting for these titles, because you can't have novices like Conor Benn fight for these titles and then end up with a ranking like that. You know, it just devalues the rankings and it makes them look like a joke. I think Josh Kelly, he's way too high, but at least he's fought Carlos Molina, a guy who's fought at a really high level. You know, Carlos Molina at one point was a world champion. Josh Kelly has won a title in the Commonwealth belt, so at least Josh Kelly has done something. But Conor Benn, Jesus Christ, you know, they've just paid for that ranking, let's be honest about it. And I say, oh, how do the sanctioning bodies create their rankings? It's who's paying for them, let's be honest. And Matt Shroom and Eddie Hearn are obviously paying the WBA some good money, because he's certainly not there because of his resume and achievements in the ring. That's an absolute shocker. Conor Benn at number 6 in the WBA rankings. Share your thoughts below. Tell me what you guys think. Peace.